Right when you feel like quitting, right when everything seems to be falling apart, that's when you're closest to your breakthrough. The pressure, the pain, the doubt. It's not a sign to stop, it's a sign to rise. Because the storm doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to reveal you. And if you're feeling the weight right now, it means you're almost there. When the path becomes the most challenging, when every step feels like a mountain, and every thought tries to convince you to give up, that is often the clearest sign that you're nearing your breakthrough. Most people misinterpret this moment. They see the pressure as failure, the resistance as rejection, and the chaos as confirmation that it's time to stop. But in truth, the struggle is not a barrier. It's a beacon. It's the universe's way of filtering out those who were never truly committed from those who are destined to cross the finish line. You must realize that progress does not always come in the form of applause, rewards, or smooth roads. Often it disguises itself in fatigue, frustration, and moments of silence when nothing seems to be working. These are the moments when the dream seems furthest away, but paradoxically, they are when you are closest to achieving it. Every great endeavor reaches a tipping point. It's the space between almost and finally. It's the silent battlefield where internal wars are fought, where fear whispers louder than hope, and where most retreat, believing they've reached the end. But what they don't see is that just beyond that invisible wall is the reward they've been chasing all along. That's why it gets tough. That's why the storm rolls in. Because anything worth having will test you before it blesses you. The difficulty isn't there to defeat you, it's there to measure your belief. The pressure is not random, it's precise. It's happening because you're moving in the right direction. Imagine climbing a mountain. At the bottom, the air is rich, the terrain forgiving. But as you ascend, the climb steepens, the oxygen thins, and the body screams for relief. Not because you're going the wrong way, but because you're approaching the summit. The same applies to your goals. The pressure intensifies not to break you, but to prepare you. The obstacles don't appear to push you back. They rise to see if you've got what it takes to keep going. And every time you take another step forward despite the resistance, you're telling the world, I'm still in the fight. I still believe. This principle applies to every pursuit, whether it's building a business, transforming your health, developing discipline, or chasing a lifelong dream. The closer you get to the turning point, the more tests will arise. Doubt will knock, fear will whisper, and your own mind will begin to negotiate with you. It'll offer comfort in exchange for your calling. But you must not listen. You must understand that discomfort is a signpost, not a signal to retreat. It is the mark that you are no longer walking in circles. You are moving toward a destination. The journey will never get easier, but you will get stronger. And the reason it's getting so hard right now is because you're approaching the place most people never reach. You're nearing the moment that separates the dreamers from the doors, the wishers from the warriors. Adversity is not designed to stop you. It exists to shape you, to sharpen your edge, and to reveal who you truly are when comfort is stripped away. Too often, people misread hard times as signs they're on the wrong path, when in reality, adversity is a silent partner in success. It's the force that refines your character, the fire that burns away weakness, and the pressure that uncovers your inner power. The truth is, if there were no resistance, there would be no growth. If there were no setbacks, there would be no story worth telling. Greatness does not come from ease. It is born through struggle, through the relentless act of rising again when the world expects you to stay down. When you face difficulty, understand that it's not an accident. Life is not punishing you. It's preparing you. Every challenge is a hidden opportunity to elevate yourself beyond your previous limits. The pain you feel is not permanent. It's a temporary discomfort meant to stretch your capacity and expand your vision. Adversity introduces you to yourself. It reveals the limits of your patience, the strength of your resilience, and the depth of your desire. Only when everything is tested can you truly discover how badly you want it. In these moments, you are being asked one silent question. How much are you willing to endure for the life you claim to want? People often look for signs from the world that they're on the right path. They look for green lights, open doors, and smooth roads. But the real signs come in the form of resistance. Obstacles appear not to block the path, but to prove how committed you are to continuing on it. If success was handed out freely, it would lose all value. It's the rarity of achievement that makes it meaningful. That's why adversity is not your enemy. It's your qualifying test. Those who shrink back under pressure never discover what was waiting for them just beyond the pain. But those who push forward despite the odds carve their names into the stones of legacy. Think of any high achiever, anyone who made their mark in this world, and you'll find a person who walked through fire. They weren't given an easy road. They were given a difficult one, because only through difficulty do you become the person worthy of your dreams. You don't get to skip adversity, you must go through it. It's not there to discourage you, it's there to demand more of you. It's life's way of asking, are you serious or are you simply interested? Interest fades when things get hard, but commitment, real commitment, remains unshaken. It moves forward even when the outcome is uncertain, even when the progress is slow, even when everything seems to say, turn back. The presence of adversity doesn't mean failure is near. It means the process is working. You are being refined, not rejected. You are being molded, not denied. Struggles are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of movement. When you are climbing higher, when you are stretching beyond your comfort zone, struggle is inevitable. It is the force that reveals your true strength, not the kind you talk about when things are easy, but the kind you discover in the silence of your lowest moments, the kind of strength that doesn't shout but endures. Every person who has achieved something of real value has faced struggle. It is the great equalizer, the one experience that no one can avoid on the path to greatness. But those who understand its purpose do not run from it, they embrace it. Struggles refine your focus. When things get tough, distractions fall away. You no longer have the luxury to entertain every doubt, every excuse, or every negative voice. You're forced to become intentional. You begin to see clearly what really matters, who truly supports you, and how deeply you believe in what you're doing. Struggle cuts through the noise and forces you to connect with the raw truth of your ambition. It asks you to look at yourself and decide, will I rise or will I fold? There is no growth without resistance. A seed must push through the soil, a muscle must tear before it strengthens, and a diamond is formed under pressure. The same is true for you. You are not fragile. You are not built to break. The struggles you face are revealing the endurance and grit that comfort could never awaken. There is power inside of you that only adversity can activate. It's hidden in your persistence, in your decision to keep going when giving up would be easier. Each struggle is a silent sculptor, shaping your character, your discipline, and your resilience. Many people want success but try to avoid the process. They want the reward but resist the struggle. But the struggle is the process. It's the price you pay for growth. There's no shortcut, no cheat code, no easy route. What defines your outcome is how you respond to the weight you carry. Some people let struggle crush them. Others use it as a stepping stone. The difference is mindset. The ones who rise don't see struggle as a wall. They see it as a signal that they're building something meaningful. You are not the same person who began this journey. Struggle has already changed you. It has humbled you, taught you, and awakened parts of you that comfort never could. It has stripped away the fluff and revealed the foundation. The pain you feel today is part of your transformation. It's proving that you are not backing down. It's showing that your dream is more than a wish. It's a mission. And though it may not look like it on the surface, every ounce of struggle is evidence that you are rising. Every setback is sharpening your focus. Every hardship is making you stronger. And every battle you face is building a version of you that nothing can shake. The dream you're chasing is not idle. It's alive. And it's watching you. Not in the literal sense, but in the way life responds to action, to persistence, to energy. The vision you hold in your heart is not just waiting for you to arrive, it's waiting to see if you're serious enough to deserve it. So many people talk about what they want. They speak their goals with passion, share them with excitement. But when adversity shows up, when the path becomes uncertain or progress slows down, they let their actions slip. But the dream does not respond to words, it responds to work. It doesn't listen to what you say you want. It watches what you do when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when the applause stops and the spotlight fades. The moment you start working toward a dream, life takes note. Not with rewards at first, but with resistance. It's almost as if your desire triggers a challenge, a test to measure the depth of your belief. Do you only want it when it's easy, or will you continue when there's no visible evidence of success? The dream is watching how many times you get up after a setback. It's watching how you respond when the plan falls apart. It's watching how you treat the process when the results are delayed. Because it's not just about reaching the goal. It's about becoming the person who is capable of holding it, sustaining it, and growing beyond it. People often forget that the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't just measured in miles of effort. It's also measured in moments of character. The moment you don't quit, the moment you make the tough decision, the moment you say no to comfort and yes to discipline. Those are the moments your dream takes you seriously. That's when the invisible shifts begin. It may not happen overnight, and it may not show up the way you expect, but every ounce of effort, every sacrifice, every moment of discipline is being seen, measured, and returned to you in ways you cannot yet predict. Your dream is not static. It's growing as you grow. It expands as you expand. It is always becoming more possible as you become more prepared. The vision you had in your mind the day you started is only a fraction of what's waiting for you if you continue. But the question is not whether it will come. The real question is, will you still be standing when it arrives? Will you still be showing up, still taking the steps, still building when it seems like nothing is working? Because most people want the reward without the patience. They want the destination without the discipline. But the dream doesn't open its doors to the impatient. It opens to the one who keeps moving forward even when there's no applause, no recognition, and no guarantee. It opens to the one who proves, not just once, but daily, that they are worthy. Every great success story has a hidden chapter, one filled with doubt, delay, and discouragement. It's the part most people skip over because it's not glamorous, it's not easy, and it doesn't feel victorious. It feels like defeat, but it's not. It's the illusion of defeat, the moment when everything appears to be falling apart when, in reality, everything is falling into place. This illusion shows up right before the breakthrough, right before the tipping point, and it's where most people turn back. They misinterpret the pressure, the silence, the resistance as a sign that they've reached the end. But in truth, they're standing just inches from the breakthrough they've been chasing. The illusion of defeat is not real defeat. It's the voice of doubt magnified by fatigue. It whispers lies at your lowest moment, convincing you that your efforts were wasted, that your sacrifices were pointless, that your dream was nothing more than fantasy. But this voice only grows loud when you are nearing a transformation. It is a final challenge, a last test, to see if you truly believe in what you say you want. If you are truly committed, you will push through. If you are merely interested, you will walk away. And that's what separates the few who make it from the many who don't. It's easy to be confident when things are working. It's easy to stay focused when you can see progress. But what defines your destiny is what you do when nothing seems to be moving. What do you do when the results don't match the effort? What do you say to yourself when the world is silent and your dream looks distant? That is the moment that determines everything. Because if you can hold the vision even when the circumstances contradict it, if you can trust the process even when the process seems broken, you are already on the verge of something powerful. Breakthroughs often come wrapped in chaos. They are preceded by the breaking down of old habits, false beliefs, and past limitations. The illusion of defeat is part of that breakdown. It is a shedding of what no longer serves you, a clearing of the mental clutter, emotional baggage, and inner resistance that would sabotage your success if left unchecked. Most people don't realize that what feels like falling apart is actually preparation. The pressure, the failure, the fear, it's all clearing the space for the new version of you to emerge. When you feel like you've tried everything, when you've pushed yourself beyond your limits, and when you're tempted to say, "It's over," that's the moment to go one more step. That's when it matters most. Because while others are giving up, you are standing on the edge of the life you've been working for. Most never make it not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they fell for the illusion. They turned back just moments before the reward. The illusion of defeat is always loudest when victory is closest, always darkest before dawn, always hardest before the shift. Your dream is not a passive wish floating in your imagination. It is a living force responding to your level of commitment. It watches how you handle the quiet days, the hard days, the days when nothing seems to move forward. It watches how you react when no one is clapping for you, when there's no spotlight, no recognition, just the grind. This is the moment where most people falter, not because their dream is unreachable, but because they stop showing up for it. They give effort when it's convenient, they stay disciplined only when it feels good, and they expect massive results from minimal consistency. But the dream does not reward part-time effort. It responds only to those who are fully invested, who are willing to keep showing up even when progress is invisible. There's a powerful truth that many people miss. Your dream is always measuring your belief. It's not enough to want something. Everybody wants success, happiness, abundance. What separates those who get it from those who don't is action fueled by unwavering belief. Not belief that things will be easy, but belief that no matter how hard things get, you will not give up. When you act with that kind of belief, you send a signal to life itself. You tell the dream, "I'm ready." And once that signal is consistent, life begins to rearrange in ways you never expected. Opportunities you didn't see before start to show up. People cross your path at just the right time. Doors begin to open not by luck, but by proof of persistence. But that proof must come first. The dream doesn't reward you just for starting. It rewards you for staying through rejection, staying through self-doubt, staying when results are small and your effort feels massive, staying when you're tired, unmotivated, and unsure. Those moments build the foundation under your future. They carve the strength, the clarity, and the discipline you'll need to sustain the dream once it becomes reality. Because getting there is only part of the process. Remaining there requires even more. Many people think their dream has abandoned them. But in truth, they abandoned their dream long before it had the chance to arrive. They stopped believing because things got tough. They stopped acting because results didn't come fast enough. They started doubting because the dream didn't show up on their timeline. But the dream doesn't operate on your clock. It arrives when you're ready. And readiness isn't declared, it's proven. Proven by the way you rise after you fall. Proven by the way you push through resistance. Proven by how deeply you hold your vision when everything around you tells you to let it go. When you stay consistent in the silence, when you stay focused through the fog, when you keep walking when the path disappears. That's when your dream begins to lean in. That's when it starts moving toward you, just as you've moved toward it. It's always been watching, waiting to see if you're truly ready to carry what you've asked for. Obstacles are not just inconveniences on the path to success, they are the path. Every challenge, every difficulty, every unexpected detour is part of the process designed to build you, not break you. The mistake most people make is believing that obstacles mean they're going in the wrong direction. But in truth, obstacles are confirmation that you're moving. If there's no resistance, you're not growing. If there's no challenge, there's no transformation. Obstacles are placed in your way not to stop your progress, but to prepare you for the level of success you're heading toward. They are training grounds where your mindset, resilience, and commitment are tested and strengthened. Every time you face an obstacle, life is asking you a simple question: are you ready for the next level? That question doesn't come through comfort. It comes through struggle. It doesn't show up in smooth seasons, but in moments of tension and pressure. You are not being punished by the obstacle. You are being prepared. Because the level of life you want to live, the dream you want to realize, requires a stronger version of you than the one who started the journey. You cannot reach it with weakness. You cannot hold it with indecision. You cannot sustain it with the same thinking that got you here. And so life gives you obstacles not to defeat you, but to demand your growth. Obstacles build qualities in you that comfort never could. They teach you patience when progress is slow. They teach you courage when fear tries to paralyze you. They teach you problem solving when your usual strategies fail. They teach you emotional control when circumstances push you to the edge. Every obstacle you overcome makes you more resourceful, more focused, and more disciplined. These are the tools you'll need not just to reach your dream, but to handle the weight of it once it's in your hands. Too often, people want the outcome without the obstacle. They want the crown without the cross. But the dream you're chasing will not hand itself to someone who has not proven they can carry it. It's not about just getting what you want. It's about becoming the kind of person who can sustain it. That transformation happens through trials, and every obstacle you face is part of that transformation. It's not in the way, it is the way. Obstacles also reveal your true level of commitment. When it gets hard, will you still move forward? When plans fall apart, will you rebuild? When the goal seems distant, will you still believe? These questions are not answered in words, they're answered in actions. If you keep pushing when it's painful, if you keep showing up when it's inconvenient, you're sending a message that you are no longer interested in success. You are committed to it. And commitment doesn't quit, it adapts. It grows, it finds a way forward. Every obstacle is an invitation. An invitation to rise higher, think bigger, and become stronger. It's a challenge that separates the wishers from the warriors, the talkers from the doers, the starters from the finishers. Mental toughness is not something you're born with. It is built in the moments you choose not to give up. It's formed when the excuses seem valid, when comfort calls your name, and when the easier path looks tempting, yet you keep pushing forward. Success doesn't favor the most talented or the most gifted. It favors the most mentally resilient, the person who refuses to break, who keeps going without applause, who stands tall in the face of failure is the one who will ultimately win. Mental toughness isn't about being unaffected by challenges. It's about continuing despite them. It's about training your mind to believe in the outcome, even when your current circumstances show no sign of it. When things get difficult, your mind becomes the battleground. Your thoughts will either fuel your progress or sabotage your potential. That's why mental discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is temporary, it comes and goes with how you feel. But discipline is a decision. Mental toughness is forged when you teach yourself to act, not according to mood, but according to mission. You show up whether you feel like it or not. You stick to your goals even when the excitement fades. You commit to the process, trusting that consistency will create results long before comfort ever does. Most people are not defeated by external forces. They're defeated by their internal dialogue. They give up not because the goal was impossible, but because their mind convinced them that it wasn't worth it. Mental toughness is learning to talk back to that voice. When doubt says, "You can't," you say, "Watch me." When fear whispers, "You'll fail," you respond, "I'll grow." That inner shift turns your mind from a battleground into a weapon. It stops becoming your enemy and starts becoming your ally. And once your mind is aligned with your purpose, there is no obstacle you cannot face. Mental toughness also means letting go of the need for constant validation. It means doing the work when no one notices, keeping your promises to yourself, and building a quiet confidence that doesn't need approval to be real. The mentally tough don't seek shortcuts. They embrace the grind. They understand that the journey will be long, the setbacks will be many, and the recognition might come late. But they don't let any of that stop them. They are fueled by something deeper than applause: purpose, vision, and self-respect. Pressure will come. Setbacks will come, failure will come, but these are not reasons to quit, they are the reasons to keep going. Every tough day, every hard choice, every disciplined moment adds another layer to your strength. The more you endure, the stronger you become, and eventually, what once felt impossible becomes routine. What once broke you now builds you. That is the power of mental toughness. It doesn't eliminate adversity, but it makes you unstoppable in the face of it. You don't wait to feel ready, you train yourself to act anyway. You don't seek comfort, you seek growth. And you don't quit just because it's hard, you push harder, because that's where the transformation happens. You are not breaking, you are becoming. It may not feel like it now, but the pressure you're under, the setbacks you're facing, and the pain you're experiencing are shaping you into someone stronger than you've ever been. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you're stretched, challenged, and tested beyond what you thought you could handle. This process of transformation often disguises itself as destruction. It feels like everything is falling apart when, in truth, things are falling into place. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. You're not being rejected. You're being redirected toward a stronger version of yourself. When you ask for strength, life doesn't hand it to you. Instead, it gives you circumstances that force you to become strong. When you desire confidence, life doesn't give you applause. It gives you opportunities to believe in yourself without validation. The pain you feel is not a signal that you are breaking down. It's the friction required to break through. It's teaching you lessons that ease never could. It's shaping your patience, sharpening your discipline, and revealing your resilience. These moments, though difficult, are not the end, they are the forge. Just as fire tempers steel and pressure forms diamonds, adversity sculpts your inner power. So many people give up during this phase because they believe something is wrong. They think they must have made a mistake, taken the wrong path, or aren't cut out for their dreams. But the truth is, they were right on track. The pain they felt wasn't a sign to quit. It was a sign to keep going. You are never tested for no reason. You are tested so that you can be trusted. Life wants to see if you're ready for the weight of what you've asked for. Can you remain focused when everything around you feels unstable? Can you keep believing when there's no visible evidence? Can you continue building even when nothing seems to be working? These are not easy questions, but answering them through action is how you transform. You won't always feel powerful, but if you keep showing up anyway, you are more powerful than you realize. The cracks you feel within are not signs of collapse. They are signs that the old version of you is being stripped away. The part of you that doubted, delayed, avoided growth, that version is being replaced by someone more capable, more focused, more prepared. The process of becoming is never smooth. It's filled with days when you question yourself, when you feel like giving up, when you wonder if all the effort is worth it. But every time you choose to persist, every time you take one more step forward despite the weight you're carrying, you are proving that you are not breaking, you are being built. And the person you are becoming through this process will one day look back and realize that the struggle wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It wasn't the end, it was the beginning of something greater. The reason it's getting so hard right now is because you are standing on the edge of the breakthrough. Most people misunderstand difficulty. They see pain, fatigue, and chaos as signs to turn back, when in truth, they are signals that transformation is near. You've pushed so far, endured so much, and sacrificed more than you let people see. This is not the time to doubt yourself. The storm you're in isn't meant to drown you. It's meant to push you through the final threshold of your old limits. You are facing pressure because you are moving. You are feeling resistance because you are growing. You are being challenged because you're no longer the same person who started this journey. Every time you level up in life, You encounter new resistance. That's not failure, that's friction. Friction is what you feel when momentum meets obstacles. It's what happens when your desire to change clashes with the habits and beliefs that kept you stuck. And right now, that clash is loud. It's uncomfortable. It's draining, but it's also sacred because it means something is shifting. Something inside you is refusing to go back to average. Your old life, your old excuses, your old limits are crumbling. And that can feel like everything is falling apart, but really it's the space being cleared for the new version of you to emerge. When it gets hard, that's when your commitment is tested. Not in the easy days, but in the days when nothing goes right, when doubt screams louder than faith, and when giving up seems easier than going on. This is the part of the journey most people skip, not because they can't succeed, but because they retreat when the discomfort feels too heavy. But discomfort is not the enemy. It is the evidence that you're getting close. It is the final filter, the final gatekeeper that separates the dreamers from the doers, the interested from the committed, the starters from the finishers. You have to decide what kind of person you are. Do you quit when it gets tough, or do you rise higher when life turns up the pressure? Do you wait for conditions to be perfect, or do you create progress in the middle of chaos? Because real growth doesn't wait for ideal circumstances. It happens when you take imperfect steps in imperfect times, with an unshakable belief that you're heading somewhere meaningful. And you are. Even if you can't see it yet, even if the results haven't shown up, even if the path feels foggy, you are closer than you think. That heaviness you feel is not weakness. It's the way to becoming. And the harder it gets, the more important it is that you keep going. Because what's waiting on the other side of this season isn't just success, it's proof. Proof that you didn't fold. Proof that you were stronger than your excuses. Proof that everything you dreamed was worth fighting for. This isn't your breaking point. It's your breakthrough in disguise. So when the journey gets harder, when the weight feels heavier, and when your doubts start to scream louder, don't back down. That struggle is proof that you're close. Hold the line, trust the process, and keep moving forward. Because the ones who refuse to quit are the ones who rise. You're not at the end. You're at the edge of everything you've been fighting for.